Welcome to the Season 8 premiere of High School Quiz Show Maine. Once again, we have 16 schools from across the state competing to be this year's champion and take home the $1,000 prize for their school's project graduation. In our first qualifying match, it's the Huskies of Gould Academy taking on the Seagulls of Old Orchard Beach High School. That's next on High School Quiz Show Maine.
Production support for High School Quiz Show Maine is provided by Energy is about more than just keeping the lights on. It's about living life. As parents, friends, and teammates, Unitil is proud to support High School Quiz Show Maine. Unitil, more than a utility, part of your community.
From whoops to uh-oh to oh no. Safety insurance can help you manage life's storms, even the indoor kind.
Since 1852, Bangor Savings Bank has been dedicated to keeping New Englanders at the heart of what they do. That means investing in communities they serve and supporting families and businesses. You matter more.
And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to Season 8 of High School Quiz Show Maine. I'm your host, Todd Gutner. Last fall, dozens of schools from across the state took the qualifying test to be part of this season. The top 16 scoring schools have made it onto the show, and each one is hoping to become our newest champion and take home the $1,000 grand prize for their school's project graduation. In our first game for Season 8, we have a veteran taking on a newcomer. The Gould Academy Huskies are making their 5th appearance on the show, and they're taking on the Old Orchard Beach High School Seagulls in their second time on Quiz Show Maine. You may notice we have a brand new set, and it looks great. Some of you longtime viewers will also notice the return of the head-to-head round. Otherwise, the show remains exactly the same. So let's meet the players for our kickoff match. For Gould, we have Will, Lucas, Ingrid, and Ian, with alternates Noah, Andy, and Dia, and their coach, Adam Leff. And for Old Orchard Beach, we have Ransom, Charlotte, Gibson, and Evan, with alternate Colby, and coaches Andrea Johnson and Michael Brennan. The competition has 4 rounds. We have the toss-up round, the head-to-head round, the category round, and that fun lightning round. We'll start with the toss-up round. All answers are worth 10 points, and this is the only round with no point deductions for wrong answers. Players must wait for me to complete the question, and if one team answers incorrectly, the other team will be given a chance to answer. All right, is everybody ready to kick off Season 8? Gould, you good?
Here we go.
Old Orchard Beach, you good?
Yeah.
Here comes the first question for you. On the internet, the abbreviation TL:DR usually means what? Gibson, Old Orchard Beach.
Too long, didn't read.
That is correct. We're off and running. Yeah. The FDA uses what unit of measurement to quantify the amount of energy your body receives from a serving of food or beverage? Gibson again.
Calories.
Calorie again is right. Sunrise on the Reaping is the 5th book in which series of Susan Collins set in the fictional country of Panem? Evan, Old Orchard Beach.
Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games is correct also. Aphrodite is the Greek goddess of love and beauty. What is the name of her Roman counterpart? Ian, Gould.
Venus.
Venus is right. Up next, we have a picture question, so take a look at the monitor right over here. This 80s sitcom character with a fondness for cats is known by a 3-letter acronym given to him by his adopted family after crashing his spaceship into their garage while fleeing his home planet of Melmac. What is this affable character's name? Ransom, OOB.
Alf.
Alf is right. Yeah, that was a great show. Known for its ability to sniff out crime, which floppy-eared breed of dog has a nose with more than 3 million scent receptors? Evan?
Hound.
A little bit more. Can you give us a little more on that?
I don't know, just a hound.
Can't take that. Ingrid, you want to give it a shot?
A bloodhound?
Bloodhound is what we were going for, Evan. Sorry about that. Next question. The arrest of what woman in December 1955 led to a year-long bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama? Gibson.
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks is correct. Next question. What genus of single-celled organisms whose name means change is known for its ability to change shape? Answer is amoeba. Amoeba. On to the next. Fair is foul and foul is fair is a line from Act 1, Scene 1 of which Shakespeare play? Ingrid Gould.
Macbeth?
Macbeth is right. All right, we have a video question, so again, take a look at the monitor.
I'm Aislinn Sarnacki, host of Borealis on Maine Public, and here's my question for you. Giant boulders like Big Rock here in Waltham are located throughout Maine, moved by glacial action. So, what's the geologic term for a rock that has been moved and deposited by a glacier?
Ian Gould.
Glacial erratic.
That is correct. Nice job. Next question. Cows and other livestock are a major source of emissions of which greenhouse gas that they expel when they burp? Charlotte, OOB.
Methane?
Methane, right. What German word that means emperor is a title associated with Wilhelm I and Wilhelm II, who ruled the German Empire in the 19th and early 20th centuries? Lucas Gould.
Kaiser.
Kaiser is correct also. Alpha decay always produces a nucleus of which element composed of 2 protons and 2 neutrons? That would be Will Gould.
Helium.
Helium is right. The 2024 Broadway musical Hell's Kitchen is based on the life of which of these people who grew up in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood of New York City? Alicia Keys, Kendrick Lamar, or Jay-Z? Evan.
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys, yes. All right, time for a math question. You've got pencil, you've got paper. Here comes the question. What is the least common denominator of the fractions 7/8 and 9/10? Lucas Gould.
40.
40 is right. Nice job. The world's largest coral reef system is what complex of reefs off the coast of Australia? Will Gould.
The Great Barrier Reef.
That's right. Texas and Florida lead the U.S. in attempts to ban or restrict access to certain types of what things in public schools? There were 4,240 specifically targeted for banning in 2023 alone. Gibson, OOB.
Books.
Books is the right answer, yes. Which classic shortbread Girl Scout cookie has a name that comes from the Latin for 3 leaves? Trefoil is the answer. Although Christopher Columbus was born in Italy, his voyage to the New World in 1492 was paid for by the king and queen of which country? Evan?
Spain.
Spain is right. Which perennial flowering shrub, whose name comes from the Greek for water, has blooms that change color from pink to blue depending on the pH and the presence of aluminum in the soil? Evan again?
Hydrangea.
Hydrangea is also the right answer. Next question. By definition, a cartographer is a person who makes which of these things? Furniture, maps, or shoes? Lucas.
Maps.
Maps is right. Alan Dulles, George Tennant, and Gina Haspel all have served as director of which U.S. federal agency responsible for preventing foreign espionage and safeguarding our national security? Ingrid Gould.
CIA.
CIA is the right answer. What man was elected president of Ukraine in 2019 and remained in that office after his term expired in 2024? Evan?
Zelensky.
Zelensky is right. In Spanish, it's corazon, and in French, it's cœur. What is the English name for this body organ? Lucas Gould.
Heart.
Heart is the right answer. All right, once again, we have another math question, so grab that pencil and paper. And here comes the question. A square has an area of 625 square inches. What is the perimeter of that square in inches? The answer is 100 inches. 100 inches. Oh, That's the end of the first round. Ooh, we've got a battle, folks. It's tied. Gould 110, Old Orchard Beach 110. What a start to Season 8. We'll meet the teams when we get back. So before we go to the head-to-head round, we like to pause and get to know our players with a slightly silly question. And our first question of this season is, you have been tasked with creating a new breakfast cereal and a prize that comes in the box. So what will they be? Will from Gould, you go first.
I think I'd take the two greats in the cereal world. I'd take Lucky Charms and Honey Nut Cheerios and make a combination of the two. I'd take the Cheerios from Honey Nut Cheerios and then combine them with the marshmallows from Lucky Charms. And
Sounds like a winner.
Call it Honey Nut Charms.
Very creative.
Yes,
Sounds really good.
Exactly.
What's your prize going to be?
I would take these little spinny things that would fly from the McDonald's Happy Meals.
Wow, you're combining like a lot of really amazing things right now, but I like it. Thank you, Will. Lucas, you are up.
I would have this big solid block of maple granola. It would come in the box, and then when you pour it in the bowl and pour the milk on it, it would magically turn into yogurt and granola. And the prize would be, there'd be like 12 tickets in the entire world. And so not many people get it. But when you get the ticket, you get to go to the factory and see how they make all that turn into yogurt and granola.
That sounds pretty amazing, too. Yeah, thank you. Lucas, Ingrid, your turn.
I think basically a Rice Krispie treat that's been deconstructed into cereal form.
I mean, that
so
sounds
the
amazing.
marshmallow coating on all the Rice Krispies with
go.
the marshmallows in the box, too.
All right.
And I think we need to start putting Polly Pockets back in cereal boxes.
Polly Pockets?
Yeah.
What is a Polly Pocket?
Like those little dolls with the little rubber clothing.
Over this head right there.
okay.
But sure. Ian, you're last up for Gould.
I think I'd make a chocolate-covered strawberry cereal. You got the
that's
sweetness from the chocolate, the healthiness from the
Right.
strawberries. Get a nice balance between the two.
Healthiness from the freeze-dried strawberry, right?
That's right. And my prize would be some strawberry action figure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll work on that. That's
Yeah.
doable. Let's go over to Old Orchard Beach. Ransom.
I've always been a fan of the little cookie cereal, but I think it's
Cookie Crisp?
cookies. Yeah, Cookie Crisp. But instead of cookies, I think brownies might work a little bit better.
Brownie Crisp.
Yeah, and then for a little toy inside, you could make a little brownie man to combat the wolf and the Cookie Crisps.
Come back the wolf.
Yeah, with the Cookie Crisps.
Oh, wow. Okay. We got a lot going on there. Yeah, but I like it. Charlotte?
So I always loved fruit-flavored cereal growing up. So my idea would be that it's like this frog-inspired cereal. And it sounds gross, but hear me out. In the box, you would get a kind of like a little container, like a mini bowl, and it's kind of like a frog pond. And what you do is you pour the frogs in there as the cereal. And then when you add the milk, changes color, harkens back to our old classics.
Do these frogs still taste like fruit?
Yes.
Okay, good.
They do not taste like frog. Do not worry.
You. Gibson, your turn.
I would make really big Rice Krispies.
Like, how big are we talking?
Sizable.
I mean, that's like a Weetabix or something, right?
It's like a rice because you get more of that crunch.
That's a lot of crunch, yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a toy prize or anything in your box of?
Just one of the Rice
One
Krispies
Rice
will be cast out of fake gold.
Oh, that's a really good prize. I like that a lot. Evan, let's go with the last one here.
My favorite cereal is Frosted Flakes. So I would just want like a fruity kind of Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
But to kind of like appeal to kids and kind of as like a marketing strategy, I would want to put a small Squishmallow in there. So then the kids are like, oh my God, there's a Squishmallow in that. And then
they'll
sales.
eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That'll work. That'll get them for sure. Okay, thanks, guys. The head-to-head round is next, but let's see how well you do with our viewer question of the week.
Hi, I'm Alec O'Mara from Unitil, and this is your viewer question of the week. Maine has over 100 state routes, which are roads signed and maintained by the Maine Department of Transportation. Which state route is also Maine's only official truck route? Keep track of your answers and tune in to the semifinals for part 2 of the Viewer Question Challenge.
It's time for the head-to-head round. This should be fun. Players alternate facing off one-on-one here at the desk. Correct answers are worth 10 points. Incorrect answers will cost you 10 points. We have 90 seconds on the clock. Players ready? Here we go. First question. Characterized by rounded arches like the ones on ancient aqueducts, what architectural...
Arches.
Arches is incorrect. Romanesque. Romanesque. Next question. The deepest point in the Pacific Ocean is named for what British research ship that surveyed the depths of the Marianas Trench in 1951? That would be the Challenger. By definition, a tangent is a line that intersects a circle at how many points?
2.
Answer is 1. In golf, if you bogey a par 4 hole, how many strokes did you take to finish the hole? Answer is 5. Edward Lear was famous for writing what type of humorous poems named for a city in Ireland? Limericks. In 1994, South Africa fully repealed what controversial policy of strict racial segregation it had?
Apartheid.
Apartheid is correct. An element's atomic number refers to how many of what subatomic?
Protons.
Protons is correct. Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbowser.
Pokemon.
Pokemon is correct. Even though they're not nutritious and they're toxic to other animals, the leaves of which tree are the primary food source of koalas?
Bamboo.
Incorrect. Eucalyptus. In which section of the orchestra would you find piccolos, oboes, and bassoons?
Woodwinds?
Woodwinds is right. And that's the end of the second round. We have Gould 90, Old Orchard Beach 140. The category round is next, so don't go away.
Production support for High School Quiz Show Maine is provided by
The custodians clean the schools, we drive the buses, we get the fields ready to go. I've learned over the years that becoming involved with MEA makes a big difference. It takes everybody's collective voice to make a change. My name is Jay Nicholson, and I am MEA.
The Worthington Scholarship Foundation, dedicated to the success of Maine students by providing scholarships and personalized support throughout their college journeys. Application deadline is April 15th. worthingtonscholars.org.
Live and work in Maine, providing resources to those who want to relocate, move within, or stay in Maine. Proud to sponsor High School Quiz Show Maine and thanking Maine's educators and schools for preparing the workforce of tomorrow.
And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Next up is the category round with the following choices. You like science? That is so last century, shelf to screen, landmark decisions, got it in 3, and we like bikes. Each team will alternate control of 2 categories. Questions have increasing point values. With each question, they can choose to answer and either gain or lose points. They can skip it and neither gain nor lose points. Or, once per category, they can toss it and force the other team to answer. Players will have about 5 seconds to confer and decide what to do. Now, our trailing team is Gould, so Lucas, you guys will have control of the board first. And which category would you like to start with?
We do You Like Science.
You like science. So all of these responses will start with the letter U. Okay. All right, here we go with the first question for 10 points. In most mammals, including humans, what is the name for the muscular organ of the reproductive system where a fertilized egg implants and grows?
Uterus.
Uterus is correct. You like science for 15. The Big Dipper is an asterism or group of stars within which constellation with a Latin name that means Great Bear?
Ursa Major.
That is also correct. You like science for 20. During a total solar eclipse, when the moon completely obscures the light from the sun, it creates an effect known by what name that comes from the Latin word for shadow?
Ultra dark.
That's incorrect. The answer is umbra. That's the right answer. We're going to move on to You Like Science for 25. What term that comes from the Latin word for hoof refers to a herbivorous mammal with hooves, such as a deer or a llama?
Toss?
Yeah. Toss.
Lucas, you want to toss this?
Yes.
Over to Old Orchard Beach. Okay. I will attempt to read this question again to you guys. What term that comes from the Latin word for hoof refers to a herbivorous mammal with hooves such as a deer or a llama?
Ungulate.
That is correct. Nice job. Ungulate is right. So we go back to Gould for You Like Science and the last question in the category. You encounter a robot that is so lifelike it actually makes you feel uncomfortable. What two-word term coined in the 1970s refers to this psychological effect that may occur when a person sees a robot that looks and acts too much like a human?
Pass.
You want to pass on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. The answer is uncanny valley. That's the answer. So that's the end of the first category. We're going to go over to Old Orchard Beach. Gibson, your turn to select.
Shelf to screen.
Shelf to screen. These will be questions about books that were adapted for movies. Here we go with the first one. Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya have starring roles in two recent films based on which 1965 sci-fi novel by Frank Herbert?
Dune.
Dune is right. Shelf to screen 15. What 2022 film that stars Felix Kammerer as a World War I German soldier named Paul was adapted from a novel by Eric Maria?
All Quiet on the Western Front.
All Quiet on the Western Front is also correct. Shelf to screen for 20. What memoir by Jeanette Walls about growing up in a dysfunctional family was adapted for a 2017 film starring Brie Larson as Jeanette?
Glass Castle.
Glass Castle is right. Shelf to screen 25. Yara Shahidi plays Natasha and Charles Melton plays Daniel, teens who fall in love unexpectedly, in a 2019 film based on which young adult novel by Nicola Yoon?
We're going to toss this.
You want to toss this to Gould? Okay, I'll read it again for you guys. Yara Shahidi plays Natasha and Charles Melton plays Daniel. They're teens who fall in love unexpectedly in a 2019 film based on which young adult novel by Nicola Yoon? You want to guess?
Hunger Games.
Unfortunately, that's incorrect. The sun is also a star is the right answer. So we'll go back for the last question in Shelf to Screen to OOB. Based on a 2009 biography, the 2024 movie Young Women and the Sea stars Daisy Ridley as Trudy Ederle, the first woman to swim across which body of water?
The English Channel.
You got it. Nice job, Gibson. And that wraps up the second category. We go back to Gould. Your second choice, Lucas.
Got it in 3.
Got it in 3. All of your answers will be 3-letter words.
Okay.
Here we go. What is the 3-letter name for an atom with a positive or negative charge?
Ion.
Ion is right. Got it in 3, for 15. What bovine animal with a common 3-letter name is an important part of a rural life on the Tibetan Plateau? Its milk is used to make a type of clarified butter, and its long hair is used to make wigs and fake beards.
Yak.
Yak is right. Got it in 3 for 20. On a computer keyboard, which key with a 3-letter name do you hit to indent the first line of a paragraph?
Tab.
Tab, yeah. Got it in 3 for 25. A Cantonese name for a cooking pan gives us what 3-letter name for a large, deep, rounded pan that is used for stir-fry cooking?
Wok.
Wok, also right. And got it in 3 for 30. What is the 3-letter name for the traditional Polynesian and Hawaiian dish that is a creamy paste or pudding made from cooked mashed taro root?
I think we toss this one.
Toss this one.
You want to toss this?
Yes.
All right, we're going over to Old Orchard Beach. Easy for me to say. Sorry, you guys. Got it in 3 for 30. What is the 3-letter name for the traditional Polynesian and Hawaiian dish that is a creamy paste or pudding made from cooked mashed taro root?
We got nothing.
You got nothing?
No.
The answer is poi. Poi is the answer. All right, that wraps up that category for Gould. We're back to OOB, your second category, Gibson.
That is so last century.
Okay, that is so last century. These are questions about things that happened in the 20th century. Here we go. In 1994, what man became the first democratically elected head of state of the Republic of South Africa?
Nelson Mandela.
That is correct, but Evan, your reaction was hilarious. You were like, what? Good thing you got a teammate like Gibson. This is So Last Century for 15. What company was founded by Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs on April 1st, 1976?
Apple Computers.
Apple is right. That is So Last Century 20. What two-word term that was coined by the writer George Orwell in 1945 refers to the period of tension and rivalry between the Soviet Union and Western democracies that began after World War II and lasted into the 1990s?
Cold War.
Cold War, yes. That is So Last Century 25. On April 6, 1973, Ron Blomberg of the New York Yankees became the first Major League Baseball player to go to bat in what role for his team?
Toss.
You want to toss? All right, we're going over to Gould. I'll read it again. On April 6, 1973, Ron Blomberg of the New York Yankees became the first Major League Baseball player to go to bat in what role for his team?
Designated hitter.
You nailed it. Nice job, Lucas. Back over to OOB for the last question in the category. The first woman elected to the U.S. House of Representatives was Jeanette Rankin from the city of Missoula. In what state that gave women the vote in 1914? What state that gave women the vote in 1914?
Wisconsin.
That's incorrect. The correct answer is Montana. Montana. That wraps up our category round, folks. We have a score. Gould 165. This is pretty close. Old Orchard Beach 225. Everything can change in the lightning round, so sit tight. We're going to be right back. Okay, we're heading into the final 90 seconds of gameplay, the lightning round. Players, you do not have to wait for me to finish the question. You can buzz in at any time, but do not answer until I call your name. You get 20 points for each correct answer. Incorrect answers will cost you 20, and the other team does not get a chance to answer. The clock is set. Good luck. Here we go. What is the chemical symbol for sodium? Ian.
Na.
Na, yes. On August 21st, 1959, which state became the 50th state to join the Union? Ransom.
Hawaii.
Hawaii is correct. What is the official language of Brazil? Lucas.
Portuguese.
Portuguese, yes. In 1859, abolitionist John Brown led a raid on the armory in what West Virginia town? Gibson.
Harper's Ferry.
Got it. Which major river flows through the Grand Canyon? Will.
Colorado River.
Colorado, yes. The term Bollywood refers to the film industry in which country? Ian.
India.
India, right. What 1895 Stephen Crane novel has a title that refers to combat wounds? Red Badge of Courage. What September birthstone is a deep blue type of the mineral corundum? Charlotte.
Sapphire.
Sapphire, yes. What famous film director's movies include Psycho and the Birds? Ingrid.
Hitchcock.
Yup. Swedish meatballs and traditionally served with jam made from what? That'll be Ingrid.
Lingonberries.
You got it. What is the medical name for the collarbone? Gibson.
Scapula.
Incorrect. Clavicle. A professional tennis Grand Slam event takes place in which district of London? Wimbledon. What 14th century author wrote the Canterbury Tales? Ingrid.
Chaucer.
Yes, you got it. And the winning team this week is Gould Academy with 305 points. They'll be moving on to the quarterfinals in a few weeks. Runner-up Old Orchard Beach. You guys played great. 265 points. Congratulations to both teams. Be sure to tune in next time as Brunswick takes on Westbrook. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on High School Quiz Show Maine.
Production support for High School Quiz Show Maine is provided by Energy is about more than just keeping the lights on. It's about living life. As parents, friends, and teammates, Unitil is proud to support High School Quiz Show Maine. Unitil, more than a utility, part of your community.
Home renovations can increase the value of your home. Safety Insurance offers a variety of home insurance products to cover your home's increased value. You can ask an independent agent about Safety Insurance. Safety Insurance will help you manage life's storms.
Since 1852, Bangor Savings Bank has been dedicated to keeping New Englanders at the heart of what they do. That means investing in communities they serve and supporting families and businesses. You matter more.
And by viewers like you. Thank you.